I'm going to talk to you today about why you're not making progress. As my time as a personal trainer, I've been working for the last 10 years or so, and I've only been able to help the people who are face to face with me. Now my goal is to help as many people as possible. So help me help more people. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and also share this with someone who would relate with this video. This will go through more topics as well, so if you have anything that you want me to talk about, don't be afraid to let me know. Comment on this video, let me know what you want me to talk about, or you can also send me an email as well. So like I've said, I've been working as a personal trainer since 2012. Momentum was established in 2018, and I wanted to make sure I could make it a bigger and larger platform for me to help a lot of people as an exercise physiologist this time, as well as a personal trainer. So I always get these people going, I'm just not making progress. But the reason why you're not making progress comes to three simple things. And more or less, it actually relates to the third point, which I'll bring up today. So I'm going to show you why you're not making progress and how someone like an exercise physiologist can help you, or even momentum as well. But you need to make sure that you take full accountability for this. So I'm going to show you what the three things are. Now, this was actually a topic that was brought up with one of my questions in my Q&A on Instagram. So I always put polls out if you want me to answer one of your questions. And the first reason why people aren't making progress is because they aren't tracking. They're not tracking something, or the inconsistency is not there. And I don't mean by tracking macros, even though it can help, but what we're talking about is things about like tracking your habits and how often you train, how many calories you burn, or even saying that how often are you training with what kind of compound-based movements. Now, the particular question that I had was actually, I do a certain type of group class, and I can't say the name of it, but I can say it in the future. Now, the actual question was, hey Sean, I'm just not making as much progress as I like to. I do 3 days a week of a group-based training program, which is more circuit-based. I go in without knowing what exactly it is, and I'm just not getting the results that I want. Here's the answer to that question. Are you first of all training consistently 3 times a week? And if so, how many calories are you burning? It also depends on what type of class you're doing. Given the certain class that you're doing, or this brand that you're doing, you have things from body weight training to cardio training to also just strength-based and technique training. So if you're doing, say, 3 days a week of cardio training, maybe you need to switch it up to some strength training. And then after that, maybe you need to switch it up to more strength training, on vice versa. The reason why is because maybe your body is adapting. Now, I can't know for sure because I would track it the way that I would do things. I don't really do circuit-based training in my clinic and in my gym and with my clients, not per se with every single class. But this is how I would go and negate that if I found myself plateauing or any of my clients also plateauing. The next thing that you need to know is if you are training 3 times a week consistently, now you need to look at why you're not getting there. Now, this particular person had a weight loss goal or fat loss goal, body recomp, and we're not seeing the results. Well, maybe you're just not tracking the nutrition side as much as you should be. Because if you're training consistently 3 times a week and you physically cannot fit any more in, maybe we need to focus on something that's not in the gym, but something that is still surrounded with you all the time. And that generally is nutrition. Now, I never trust anyone who says I know exactly what to eat. Even though with people who are highly experienced, like athletes, they still get someone else to help them out with their nutrition. So put that into your mind and take that into consideration. Professionals need coaches. More than likely, you need someone to help you out with your nutrition as well. The last thing that I'll say is, if you're training 3 times a week and your nutrition is being looked after and you're still not getting results, what are you doing on those days off? Those days off could be the difference that helps you. Now, the only reason why I say this is because I find myself as a bit of a slump in this little clinic here. And it's very easy for me just to walk around and sit down, talk to the next client, or when I have a group class, I sit down and talk to them because they are also seated as well. So rather than that, I try to make the effort to always be on my feet and walk. Now, this has actually led me to having good results for me because I was averaging 2,500 steps, even though being here for 10 hours a day. So what are you doing on those days off as well? Because what I found is when I went from 2,500 steps or 2,500 steps per day, and now I'm averaging around 7,000 to 8,000 steps per day, I found myself actually burning more calories, and it makes sense. It's not a great amount, but it could be the small amount that helps you get going. So what are you doing on those days off? Are you tracking how many steps you're doing? Are you doing some light cardio? Are you doing anything in between to help you out as well? Other things that can take into consideration, of course, equals your stress and sleep as well. Cortisone can actually help you retain a lot of fat mass, and stress levels is very highly related to that. So look into that. Rest is sometimes better than just training harder. Reason number two now. The reason number two why people aren't making progress is because, well, they don't know how to track progress. Progress comes in so many ways and forms rather than just the number on the scales, and also more than just what your shirt and your clothes feel. Those are generally two very good ways how you can track progress, but we want to be able to look at other things as well. Now, this is not a book review, but I actually just read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is not a sponsored ad, by the way, I wish it was. But this book actually goes through tracking habits to help you with results. And the way that I want you to think about this is take the step back to look at the system that runs the program. And what I mean by that is, well, everybody in every given sport in every single league wants to win the championship. Well, they should be. But the system is actually what gets people to play for that federation or play for that team and affiliate, to also how you play defense, to how you play offense, to how do you even study for the next playoff series. So what is your system to what helps you get your results? First of all, maybe you need to look at how many times you exercise per week, to when you eat, how many calories you eat, and also, to a certain extent, how you train as well. Because more than likely you have a weakest link, and everyone does. For those who are more cardio-based, it could be strength or flexibility. For those who are strength-based, it could actually be endurance or flexibility, or even just saying that technique. There are so many things that you need to look at. So if you're looking at a fat loss and muscle mass gain as your goal, maybe tracking your progress isn't just about how often you're going to be losing this much amount of kilos per week or gaining per week, but also how much are you getting better at the movement, and also how many times are you actually training consistently. Because if that's going well, then we can actually develop the system to be a little bit better. But if you're sporadic and you're training 3 times a week for 6 weeks and then you just stop, you have a poor system. We need to make sure our habits are correct to help that system run a greater program, and then you can track appropriately from there. A little bit off topic, but yes, it is actually very important. Now, this one here is my favorite. It is the most common reason why people who don't make progress around me, and it's because they're uncoachable. What we implement here at Momentum is a weekly check-in, an email that is open 24/7, and I expect people to actually get back to me on those. Because the first thing is, it's your responsibility to be able to email me once per week and let me know how things are going. The reason why is because it's not as simple as says, hey, look, this is a 12-week program, go for it, because not everyone is going to run the same race. And once again, relating back to point number 2, it's about training a system. A system helps us communicate, find variables, and also track. What happens is one person might have an injury, another person might have poor technique, and another person may not just understand what to do. You need to make frequent contact. So being uncoachable is the hardest thing. And unfortunately, I've had a lot of people who are very much uncoachable. I've had to sit them down, talk to them, and let them know that I'm driving blind when I'm reading this program because I don't hear back from them. Because the whole thing is, no one actually knows how to adjust a program unless you hear back from them. Because there's no program that fits all. More than likely, if you're a beginner, a good program will work, but the communication to individualize to you is the most important thing. So what are you doing to make sure you're coachable? If you are coachable, and this is for those people out there who definitely want to make progress, you would be the person who would stick to the protocols of once a week emails, check in every day if you need to, maybe even film your exercises to ask for technique, because now your limiting factor is yourself and no one else. This, once again, not a book review, goes into one of my favorite books that helped me out, and it's called Extreme Ownership. This is about taking ownership for your own responsibilities, your own progress, and your own situation. So, inverse, are you taking extreme ownership of what you're doing with your goals? Or are you just trying to find a quick, easy excuse or quick, easy program, and then eventually you have nothing to work off after that? So, thanks again for watching this. Hopefully this is something that you would take into consideration when it comes to making progress in anything, really. Because what you need to do is make sure that you're not training too hard and overburning. It's about optimal loading, not maximal loading. The second thing is, are you measuring the right thing? It's about using the right tools and measurements as well, because you don't want to be using the wrong tool for the wrong thing. And once again, it can be something that you don't think it just quite is. And like I said, when it comes to fat loss or muscle gain or whatever it might be, it's more than just the weight on the scales for now. It's also about knowledge, and it's also about what your habits are. And last of all, for those of you who actually do want to make progress, it's about being coachable and learning. If you think you know everything and your limit is going to be essentially yourself, There is always going to be someone out there who knows more or who can help you more, but you need to make sure that you can actually follow the system that they have, or you're going to be running around in an internal circle of doing the same thing over and over again. Because if you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Comment, like, and subscribe to my channel as well, and share this with a friend. Like I said, my goal is to be able to help as many people as possible in the whole world when it comes to exercise and also finding themselves in the fittest version of themselves.